Hey everybody, it's Tony, and we're in the playground, in my favorite playground today, because we're going to talk about golf. We're talking about golf with a couple of legends. I'm going to say that. Yes, Todd, I'm going to say that because the person you met was a legend, and yes, you are a legend. You guys, I have my good friend Todd Grace, who's not only a golf coach, but he's a master teacher, and he doesn't know this, but the things he's teaching in golf actually translates into life as well. And so one of the things, Todd, I love about you is this whole simple vibe that you create, with what you're doing in a very complex thing, which is learning how to play the most difficult sport ever created, or maybe somebody stumbled upon it, but ever created in the world, which is hitting an inanimate object that just stares at you with a metal stick. So Todd Grace from the Grace Golf Academy, it's good to have you, brother.
Thanks, Tony. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I know you've been busy. I know you've been on the golf course. I've been seeing a lot of activity, videos and training and things like that. So I appreciate you coming by and sharing some wisdom. And I want people to hear this story because it's a significant story in an old way of thinking and an old way of being, which is how to play golf. There's a certain way you got to hold the club, and there's a certain way you got to do the backswing. And for those that play golf, know that we're always tinkering and trying to find this feeling of what a golf swing is supposed to feel like. And I know, Todd, you are a golfer, and if you could just kind of share your story, how you met
Yeah.
this person, and here you are 22 years later. Oh, by the way, congratulations, 22
Thank
years.
you. Yeah. Yeah. No, it hasn't been easy. Yeah. No. So yeah. No. So I just to back way up. I was a struggling professional golfer. I played college golf. I was a good player in high school and college, and got a college scholarship. And I was playing. And I turned professional in 1991. And I went and played the Asian tour. I went overseas, and I started playing competitively, trying to get to the highest level of competition. So I was one of those guys that was kind of a journeyman, right? I mean, I was good some days, I was not great some days, and I'm hanging out in in Thailand, and my roommate is Bobby Casper, is Billy Casper's son, and
Oh,
he, famous Billy Casper, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
we're hanging out together, and I'm like, I was thinking I got to get better at hitting the golf ball. I said I play with these guys and they hit it better than me, and so we're always trying to figure it out. And so Billy goes, Todd, when we get back to the States, because we had like 4 events left, he goes, we need to find like a really, really good coach. We need to find like this really like a high level coach. I said, okay. So when I got back in 91 from Asia, I started hiring the best coaches in the world. I mean, these were the guys that everybody hired to become better at golf. And after 3 years, from 91 to 94, I progressively just got worse, and I got worse. And I literally was at the point where I was telling my girlfriend at the time, and I was telling my buddies, I was like, I don't think I can play golf anymore. I was like, I'm not making any money. I'm terrible at this game. I've gotten worse over the last few years. And so I'm sitting around in Dallas, Texas. That's where I was living at the time. And my buddy who was playing the Canadian tour, his name was Matthew Lane. He comes in, he stays with me for a couple of weeks, and he goes, Todd, he goes, I got this video you got to see. And so he throws this VHS, the old VHS tapes. He throws one of those on my desk, and I put it in my recorder, and it was a guy named Mo Norman. Now, I had heard of this guy before because he was a legend at hitting a golf ball. But there was Mo, but if you ever see Mo swing, he has this. He looks completely different than you'd see on TV. His arms are stretched from his body. He's standing a distance from the golf ball. But one of the things that we knew as good players is we got to plane the golf club. And planing the golf club, getting the club on a swing plane is just the path of the club. And the guys who did it the best hit the ball the best. Well, Mo was on this. He looked different when he did it, but he had a perfect swing plane. So I'm like, this is amazing. And Matthew says to me, he goes, this guy is a freak. And that's the quote I always use, because he's a freak. And for Matthew to say that this guy was a freak at hitting a golf ball means this guy was incredible at hitting a golf ball. So I'm looking at this video going, this looks easier. I mean, it looks easier to me. Like all the stuff I've been learning for the last 3 years has been so complicated. And one day I do this, and next day they tell me to do this, and next time I'm lifting my hands. Next time, all these complicated moves I'm trying to make to hit a golf ball. And Mo's like, it looks like it looks so easy, right?
Yeah.
So for the next year, I just took that video and I just copied it. It was 1993 to the end of 1994. I just copied it. And and so then just as long, and by the way, one of the things that I want to mention to you is when you're doing things you're passionate about, and this is constantly happening to me in my life. If I'm involved in my passion, the right people show up for me. It's
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? The right
yeah,
things
yeah.
happen. So I'm diving into my passion. I'm trying to figure out the swing, and all of a sudden this guy appears, and I say he appears because I don't know where I'm at. My sponsors own this massive driving range in Dallas, Texas. It was right on the corner of 635 and I-35. It's not there anymore, but it was this really expensive piece of property. They put a driving range, and they let me practice out there. Well, I'm out there practicing with them. I'm working on my new swing, trying to figure out Mo's swing. And this guy shows up and he has a company that teaches, that's kind of getting into teaching a very similar single plane swing
Mhm.
type thing. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And he mentions Mo Norman. I'm like, well, wait a minute. And so we get connected. And the next thing I know, Mo is going to Chicago to do a clinic. The Mo Norman's doing a clinic in Chicago. So I got to be there. So I get in my car and I drive all the way to Chicago. Now remember, I've been practicing his swing for a year, right?
Yeah.
And they invite me to kind of go in there and hang out with Mo. And I walk up to Mo the very first day I met him. He did this amazing clinic, and I watched this guy hit golf balls. Now I had played with the best players in the world, and this guy hit it as good as anybody I've ever seen. So I walked up to Mo and I said, "Hey Mo, you're the best I've ever seen." He goes, "I know, I'm the best in the world." And I'm like, "I know you are. I know. I can tell. I can tell." And I had all these questions for him, like, "How did you learn to do that?" And he said, hard work can't buy it. And I said, well, let me hit some of your clubs or whatever. So he had his clubs kind of scattered on the ground, and I grabbed his 8-iron and I started hitting it. And he looked at me and he goes, "Oh, it's me without a belly. It's me without a belly." So he kind of took me under his wing, and for the next 10 years, I would go travel to wherever he was and play golf with him. And my mission was, obviously, I want to learn as much from him. But then we became really good friends, and I became really, real. I fell in love with the guy, and he was just one of the guys in my life that I it was just amazing to have that experience, to be around him, and then spend time with him. But he was regarded as the best ball striker that's ever lived. But he was reclusive. He didn't like to talk to people. They claimed he was autistic. May or may not have been. But he was this guy that I became pretty close with, and we would hit golf balls together. He would teach me about his swing. And the next step of that was, he was so incredible that I figured there had to be science behind what he was doing, right? So I
Mm.
mean, there had to be some science behind it, because he was doing something that complicated the world and simplified it. So I started measuring it. So I got with all these biomechanics guys, all these experts, which I'm not, and I started just measuring, putting data to it all. And then we've been building Graves Golf based on science, but it's been based on Mo's swing to teach
Mhm.
people an easier way of hitting a golf ball. So that's kind of the long story short of it. But yeah, so it was an amazing run with Mo, and now we run around in the world, and we built a company teaching an easier way to play golf. And we have Todd. I think my DVD was one of the best selling DVDs. Now it's all digital, but at the time, called a Single Plane Solution. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great.
I have it actually. I have a lot of that. Everything you
Yeah,
talked about, I remember going to when I was in San Diego, they were doing this clinic and it was called Natural Golf or something like that. It was Natural Golf
yeah,
at the time. And this lady was teaching it and she was talking about this simpler way to do things and this person, Mo Norman,
yeah,
and she goes, "Anybody want to try this?" And me, kind of like, "Yeah, I'll try it." And so she gave me her iron. I got up there and she put me in this position, which is a little bit different than what you guys have, which is awesome. And I hit this 9-iron. I went, "What the heck just happened?" And
yeah.
right there, I just said, "I'm in." Like whatever this new way of doing it, I want to do it. So kudos
Well,
to you. Kudos to you
you
for
have
doing that. Like,
you have the perfect mind for it, like because it really takes. I think one of the things that if I could be helpful to anybody, would be to think for yourself. And there's so much misinformation out there. There's so much, especially in the golf world. If you
Mm.
like, you can read the same magazine, and it will tell you, the first article will tell you one thing, and by the time you finish reading the last article in the magazine, it tells you the exact opposite of what the first article just told you. And you're just like, what was that all about? And for you, you have the right mind for it, because it's going to take somebody that's willing to step outside the status quo
Yeah.
to think differently about how something can be done. The thing that we have an easier way. If you saw the swing, if people on your podcast saw the golf swing and they saw it for what it really was, and they saw Mo's swing, and then they saw just a conventional swing,
Mm-hmm.
and we explained to them, all you're trying to do is put the club on a plane and get the impact on the plane, they would look at us and go, why doesn't everybody do it Mo's way? Like,
Right.
it's common sense. It's just common sense. But we live in a world that there's not a lot of common sense. It's a really weird phenomenon. And so when you explain it from a common sense perspective, people get it. Like, you got it. Like, you're like, I get it. It makes so much sense. I hold the club and I impact on the same plane. It makes sense. But it's funny how we still have this issue of, well, everybody else does it that way. Most people are doing it that way. So I'll just run with the crowd. And if you're willing to think for yourself, that's the answer to a lot of things, right? So
yeah. There's one thing you said that I absolutely love, and I've actually said this on prior podcasts, is this whole idea: when you do what your passion is, when you do what what your heart's into and your intention, like, things just happen. Like the way that you met Mo, you can't script that out. You can't script it out, right? So I love that, and that's, people have to understand. We have to stay in this frequency, have to stay in this lane, and just follow our heart and just trust that something beautiful is going to happen, with no expectation. And it did. And here's the question I want to ask because of that. Because now you've got, you as a golfer, you've spent thousands of dollars of lessons. That was your career. You say, hold on, pump the brakes, and you go a different direction. What was it like at the beginning when you were, let's just say, learning it and actually then applying it? It's one thing to know something, but then actually stick with it and then apply it when you're on, like, going through life or a golf course. And then this follow-up question was, what was it like when you were trying to convert all of the golfing industry, or those that were willing to listen? What was that friction like at the beginning? Was there a lot of it, or did people just let you stay in your lane and didn't bother you?
I believed in it so much. Like, after I saw Mo hit golf balls and all my experience of struggling with the way I had learned before, I was 100% committed into the belief that that was the way. And I think that's why the passion was because I have 100% belief in it. It wasn't a 50% belief. It wasn't a 25% belief. It wasn't, I'll just give it a shot. I'll try it. I never tried Mo swing. I did Mo swing, right? I was like, I'm going to do that. Matter of fact, I even told Mo, I'm going to be better than you. I'm going to be better at hitting golf ball than you. So commitment was a huge part of it. And that's a big part that I teach, is like, if you want to try the swing, go try it on your own. I'm not going to teach somebody that wants to try it, because trying it means, oh, I'm kind of I don't believe in it. Belief is, and by the way, when I would spend time with Mo, he would get philosophical with me a lot. And he said, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. That was he spent more time telling me to believe in myself than he did teaching me the swing. Todd, believe in yourself. If you believe in it, belief is a big part of it, because you won't follow through if you don't believe. So all the follow through for me, the answer to your first part of your question was just belief. You had to, the belief was there. And that's probably the first I would ask is, I had a kid in California that I'm working with. He said, his dad said, I want him to play on his college team. Eventually, I want him to play in college, high school, then college. And I turned to the kid and I said, do you want to? I said, do you want to? Because the dad wants it, but does the kid want it? And if the kid wants it, he'll believe in it and he'll do it. So it's not about what other people want for you. It's what you believe you want. Right. So that was the big thing. And the second part of your question was converting other people. I don't convert other people.
Okay.
I don't do it. I refuse to try to convince anybody of anything. I simply put out my passion. I simply put out what I love. Right. And so I love hitting golf balls. I love talking about Mo swing. I love talking about the way that Mo did it. I love talking about his swing. I love talking about the single plane swing. I love talking about it. I love putting it out there. And whoever wants to join me can join me. That's what I do. I don't try to convince anybody. And if you look at my YouTube channel, I'm just out there just having a good time, right? I'm just out there having a good time with it. Like, check this out, Yeah. And you get a lot of criticism, and people, will troll the channel and say, well, why is nobody on the PGA Tour winning with this if it's so great? You get all that stuff, You know what I mean? it doesn't matter to me. I'm passionate about what I do and I believe in it, and I'm going to keep doing that. And so whoever wants to get on board and be a part of it, great. If you don't, then it's fine too. It's not a big deal. But anyway, my company doesn't, we don't have a company that tries to convince people. We just teach people. You want to learn it, we teach you. If you like it, you're in, baby. You're in, so that's kind of the way we operate.
Yeah, I love your videos. I've been watching a lot lately because the weather shifted out here in Nebraska, and I'm getting out. And they call you Little Mo because, like you said, you have this swing that looks just like his. And it's so funny, Todd, because you're such a great student, and you're a master student, but you're also a master teacher. You sound like him. You have so many mannerisms when you start talking underneath the microphone. You're like, well, it's just, I laugh my butt up. I'm going, look at this guy. And it's no wonder though, like you've actually immersed yourself into that whole process and that feeling that Mo created, that feeling of greatness, as he calls it, right?
Yeah.
That's why he was like, hey, I got the greatest swing there is. Nobody hits a ball like this. And you have that because that belief that you said is so powerful and potent that you just know it, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's funny because if I want to get entertained, I just pop a video of Mo in because I took all these videos of Mo and just listen to him talk, and it just makes my day. I mean, it just makes me laugh. The stuff he says, he just was a ball of joy, when he practiced and played golf, and I mean that's really it, right? I mean, people ask me all the time, like, do you teach a bunch of tour players? I'm like, no, I don't care about teaching tour players. I want to teach human beings how to have joy playing golf. I don't care if a tour player, I teach 5 or 6 different guys who are on the tour, but that's not my mission. Like, what is your mission? I want to look, I can either teach a few tour players or I can go teach thousands of people to have fun playing golf. It's a lot more fun to teach the 1,000 people, and I was talking to my team the other day and I said, what happens when you run a business, like we have almost 20 employees now, and we're at that size where there's a lot of administrative stuff you're doing all the time. And so here I am working with my team. I'm like, you know what I miss? I go, I'm not teaching enough. Like, I'm not in front of people enough. Like, I want to be having fun with people. And I go, this is the problem with computer screens and the problem with this digital world we live in. Interaction with human beings is just such a good part of what I've done over the last 20 years. And I'm getting further from that. I keep trying to pull myself back into that, So it's like, it's really why we do what we do. We have fun. We enjoy interacting with people that are having fun too. I mean, it's fun to be out there hitting golf balls. And to me, the most fun I can have is watching somebody else get on a single plane and hit a good golf shot like you. And you go, look at that. And I'm like, yeah, that's fun, right? That's a good time. That's much more fun than me hitting a good shot. I've done it enough. I've had a good time, but I love watching people do that. There's nothing more fun for me than that.
Yeah, there's a couple videos I just watched of you actually this morning. Just somebody that you just put in the position, like right off the street. Let's say they right off the street, they've been playing golf for a while, and you go, okay, well, let's do this. And they swing one time, you can just see them kind of struggle a little bit, and then they hit the next one, and you're like more excited than they are.
Well, yeah, I get more excited.
I love that. I love that about you.
I'll high five them. I mean, it's great.
And they're like, what did I just do? What just happened? You're like, no, did you feel that? Did you feel that?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what is the people come to you now? Do people come to you like people come to me as like a coach, and they're like as a last resort type thing? Do people come to you looking as you're the final hope, or they're tired of tinkering? Like, what is the biggest reason why people find you guys?
Yeah, I would say we're very similar in that regard. People will try a lot of different things, and we get a lot of, I'm going to give up this game if this doesn't work for me, right? I mean,
I said that many times. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, because it's a hard game, right? And so at any moment it can go sideways, So we get a lot of that. I would say that's a large. People get golf's hard on the body too as you age.
Yeah.
So but it's also a sport where you can play when you're aging too. Like, you're not going to play football when you're 70, right? So people are wanting to play this sport, but then they're having those issues so our swing is obviously easier on the body. So that helps. So we get people with that are in pain, have back trouble, come to us. People that are kind of last resort, like you said, that are kind of struggling because they tried out other things that didn't work. That's kind of those are the main two areas that we get people. I mean, look, I'm not getting high school golfers coming to me saying, "Hey, teach me Mo's swing," because they're healthy, they're swinging as hard as they can, and they're not playing well, but they're not beating my door down. It's the 65-year-old guy who says, "Hey, I can't. My body hurts. I've been playing this game for 20 years. I'm not getting any better. I need an easier way." And that's generally who we have. I mean, that's 85% of our customers. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think some of these younger people seeing the Tigers of the world and these other golfers that later in their life, in their 30s and their 40s, start developing these issues, that parents would go, "Hey, let's see if we can, since you're a good golfer, let's see if there's a way we can contain that, and so keep you playing for a long period of time."
Well, it's interesting too, is like I have a couple young guys I'm teaching right now, and they're out there and they're starting to make some progress and get out there. And I got this guy in Canada now that's I think will do really well as well. He's probably in the mid 30s. They're gonna get status somewhere and start playing somewhere. But that's not a majority for us. Those are the kids that see the value of it. That I mean, these guys are great. They're strong and they hit it long and they're really good. But that's not the majority of golfers out there. A third of all golfers in the U.S. are over the age of 60.
Wow.
So it's a majority, and that's increasing. That number of people is increasing every year. And by the way, I just read a statistic the other day that golfers the younger golfers are declining. The number of younger golfers playing. So the game is growing from the upper part of the segment, the aging part of the segment. And so what you see is the golf courses, the rounds are increasing, the age of the golfers is increasing. So those are the people that are playing the most golf.
Yeah.
And so that's who we tend to focus on. It's not that we don't teach a bunch of young people, but that tends to be the majority of people that approach us and say, "Hey, I want to play more golf, but it's too hard and I'm in pain."
Yeah.
So that's our guy. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the biggest, kind of maybe a difficult question? What is the biggest life lesson that you've learned during this whole period where you met Mo and you developed this whole new world of how to hit a golf ball, and then now you transition to now teaching, and you got academies all over the place. You got you do fittings. You have all your merchandise. Like, what is the big lesson that you feel, Todd, you've learned through all of this? It's kept you in it.
Yeah, you said it. It's been able to follow my passion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. If you follow your passion, people show up. Like the right people show up in the world for you, and maybe that's because you're putting the energy out there that you attract the right energies to you because you're putting it out there so much that you repel the energies that don't fit in and you attract the energies that do come to you. It's been to me, that's hard to trust that. But if you can trust that, that is a huge part of just my experience as a human being and following my passion. If I said anyway, but here's the thing. I think the lesson is you got to be passionate about it. Like you have to be passionate. You can't just be half passionate about it. And you got to do it for the right reasons. You have to do things for the right reasons. And to me, the right reasons are to be of service to others. I mean, I think that's kind of the only reason to do things. There's no other reason to me. I mean, it's a business has to make money, but you know what's funny about a business is we take all the money we make and pay our employees. So our business serves people too, right? So we're making money, but we're serving people with that money too. Nothing makes me more excited when I see one of the people that works for Graves Golf getting married and be able to afford a house and to buy cars and have kids. I look at our business as something that's helped that person thrive in the world. So to me, everything has to be of service. That is primary function. So if you follow your passion and you're looking at being of service to your community, to the world, to all this stuff, I think you attract everything you need. I don't think you'll ever have to worry about anything because the right people show up. Yeah. That would be a big lesson that I would want to share with people. I got to admit, it's hard to trust it sometimes. It's hard to trust that, hey, I'm going to take this step and I've got to trust that the right things are coming along. It's scary, right?
Yeah.
I'm in a scary situation now because I keep pushing myself. So I'm doing some things right now that I'm like, I don't know if I can pull this off. But the other side to it is if I pull it off if I do it the right way, it will work, right? If I do it for the right reasons, it will
Right, right,
work.
right.
And so that you just do it. You just do it, see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
Trust.
don't you have enough great references though, Todd, of you just trusting and just going that you've seen great things happen, right? So I know you're always doing big things, but we kind
Yeah.
of get to a point like we just, we get to this place with the beliefs there, the passions there, the intention is there that we're doing the right thing, we're serving people. That you know what, if I'm going to jump off the cliff, I know something's going to save me. So
Yeah.
um,
I
you
think
got a
we
lot
I
of
think we
references.
we get caught up in maybe upbringing where
Yeah,
we have some past that, you know, yeah, I know that I'm dealing with those sides of the fence as
yeah,
well. We
yeah,
have things that, um, yeah, I mean, I grew up in a house where the number one thing that was told to us was be careful. So it's like fear, fear, fear.
well, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, that's always over here, right?
yeah,
I'm speaking one side of my head, and then over here is like, no, go for it. It's
yeah,
like be careful, go for it. So yeah, you have to.
yeah,
It's that's a life struggle. I mean, we all have to do it, but it's a lot more fun to go for it. I can
yeah.
tell you that it's a lot more fun.
What
So
was that? What was Mo's like big lesson for you? So you're watching this guy,
yeah.
you follow videos, you get this beautiful friendship. You probably play one of his last rounds of golf with him. You get to be one of his closest friends. And
Well,
what was his
Mo
big
is the epitome of Mo is the epitome of live your life. Like he
lesson?
was the epitome of that. Like, he was different. He didn't fit in, but he didn't change him. He didn't try to fit in. He didn't try to live somebody else's life. He didn't try to if you either dealt with him or you didn't. And I think there's a lot of that's a healthy thing because oh my
Yeah,
God, are we live in a world now where everybody's just trying to fit in. I mean, as opposed to what are you passionate about? Do your thing. Do your thing. Go,
yeah,
go, go achieve your mission, right? What is your mission? And go for it. And Mo is on a mission, right? I mean, play golf. He want to do it his way. I learned a lot from that because I realized that, hey, it's not about trying to please everybody around you all the time. It's really about doing your thing and then and then let the people come to you that are part of your world and then serve them, right? And that's
yeah,
exactly what Mo did. So I mean, the other thing too is being able to ask for help. Like with Mo, people I think are afraid to ask for help. I immediately ask Mo for help. I'm like, hey Mo, I need your help, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
you would think that a guy like Mo would say, get away from me. But no, he was like, okay, believe in yourself. Let's go. So he was very receptive to generosity. I think people have to realize that if you're really passionate, and has to start with a passion.
mhm,
If you're really passionate about what you're doing and you sincerely ask somebody for help, they will give it to you. They will give it to you. And that is a big lesson. I learned that from Mo. Yeah. He was
yeah.
there for me.
I had a teacher like that too. These mentors, they love to mentor. And we always think when we see somebody like, oh, I don't want to ask them. And this wall goes up and you just went straight to it. I've done that too. I've sat down with people at a table and go, can I have a word with you? And be so surprised how they're so willing to share, provide wisdom, guidance, words of encouragement, whatever it is. So I love that, Todd. That's so
I,
good.
I had a friend. I had a friend of mine. This is a funny story. I had a friend of mine that he was a very successful guy, and here's how he. I attribute this as to why he's so successful. He used to ask really really high level people for their time. Right. I need to spend 20 minutes with you. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll find a way, but I don't have time right now. And he said, well, where are you going? He said, well, I got to fly to New York tomorrow. He said, okay. And he got so many. Look, I'm traveling. I can't meet with you. He bought a plane and he said, whenever the guy would say, "Hey, I can't meet with you because I gotta travel to New York," he goes, "I'll tell you what, I'll fly you there."
Yeah.
And so he would fly them. So he took it to the next level, right? And this guy
Yeah.
became super successful because
Yeah.
he found a way to get people's time that he wouldn't normally have been able to get. So you gotta be willing to
Yeah.
look if there's somebody out there that's doing what you love and you're passionate about that and they're doing it already, why wouldn't you go say, "Hey, can I spend some time with you and learn from you?" That's what I did with Mo.
Yeah.
That's all I did. I found a way to get in his world, and he was very generous with his time.
Yeah. Now look at you. So what's the future for Graves Golf? When all is said and done, and you've got your 700 grandkids around you and all, and they're talking about their papa or their unkie or whatever. What is the thing for you? Where's Graves Golf when you're, saying
Yeah.
goodbye to
So
everybody?
the mission for us is really to, if people are having joy playing golf, that's our mission, right? If one guy goes out there and plays around a golf and enjoys it, and he has a couple hours of fun because we helped him hit a couple of good shots and play really well on the course, and he has a good day because we helped him. That's the mission, like one person at a time mission.
Yeah.
Long term, you want as many people as possible doing that and having the single plane swing and having fun playing golf. Golf's such a beautiful game. It's such a challenge. There's life, like you said, there's life lessons in there. It takes discipline. You have to practice it. It takes some work. You're around people, so you have to have self discipline to play it well. All those things that golf teaches you, which is why when I teach kids, that's part of the teaching of this process. Matter of fact, I will not teach a young person if they don't directly ask me. So, for
Mm.
example, if their dad calls me, I'll say, well, I'll teach your son if he will call me directly and ask me for help.
Uh,
And so I make them take the responsibility of calling me, because otherwise they're not owning it. They're not owning what they want. And
yeah.
so when the kids set up lessons with me, I don't let their dads do it. The kids have to call me and say, "Hey, I need some of your time." So I'm teaching that lesson to the kids around me too, because I think it's a very important thing to be able to interact in this world in that way. So that's the future of our company. Is us helping people, um, a lot of things, have discipline, have fun playing golf. And then when I'm no longer involved with the company, right now I'm trying to build a golf campus in Edmond, Oklahoma. You know, where you came to the
Yeah.
teaching
Yeah.
center?
Yeah.
I bought all that back, all that property back. So I
Okay.
bought that building and some adjacent buildings to it, and I bought 7 holes of the golf course. So I'm getting ready to build a golf campus there. So I'm trying to attract all the people I need to put a golf campus in. So I want to build a golf campus there where you can come there and have golf experiences, practice, train, learn most swing, and all that stuff. So that there's still, I'm not done yet. There's still
Oh
stuff
yeah.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So is that one of the big things you're working on then? That's
that's a
exciting.
big project right now. Is, yeah, I
Yeah.
bought the 72 acres. I'm buying another 14,
Yeah.
and we're gonna put a golf campus in there. Yeah, so we just started. We haven't even broken ground yet. Right now, the bank's still looking at it, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're we'll see. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes.
It's already done, brother. It's
Yeah,
already done because
yeah,
just because of the who you are and what your intention is and what you believe. And I know that you've helped hundreds of thousands of people, directly or indirectly. I know there's people that watch your videos and they go, "Golly, now that's just not me," right? And and that's life. That's people in general. Then you got a bunch of people like going, "Well, I'll be darned. What the heck?"
yeah,
And that curiosity just gets to them, and then they get around you, or they try something that you're teaching, and the next thing you know, they're like, okay, asking the right questions, or now coming to you, going, "Hey, Todd, can I get some of your time? When's the next thing that you're doing? Because I want to come out
yeah,
and learn what you're doing." So I
yeah,
want you to know, like, again, I value you as a friend, and I know that you and I, for the last, gosh, it's been, I don't know, 15 years or something.
yeah,
I first met you. You've always been right down the fairway, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know what you're getting with you and all of your staff. I watch all of your instructors. Like, you know what you're getting. And besides golf, you're just a great man. And the teachings that you said, the passion, the belief, finding out what is it you love to do and just trusting, like, these are like
yeah,
massive, massive nuggets, you guys. I want you to understand that along Todd's journey, he's learned a lot about himself, and he gets to
yeah.
teach.
No doubt, no doubt. It is a journey. It's also an exploration of yourself, and I mean, I think once you commit to that,
Yeah,
once you commit to saying, hey, I think what you got to commit to is growth. Like,
yeah,
for example, yeah,
yeah,
it's growth, because look, a year ago, I had no idea how to buy a piece of real estate. Like a year
right,
ago, like I was scared of it. I was like, oh my god, what am I getting myself into?
yeah,
Now I'm buying more, right? Like now I'm like, okay, what's the next thing I can buy? And it's not that I have all this money that I can go buy all this real estate, but I'm negotiating deals to get things done, which I would never have known. And so I told my wife, I was like, I can't. Well, I'll give you another quick story
Yeah,
as we wrap
yeah,
up here.
yeah,
A
yeah.
good friend of mine is the coach he was the coach for the Mavericks. Now he's coach for the Indiana Pacers. And I remember he called me one day and he said, he goes, "What are you afraid of?" Like this is so I have coaches in my life too. And I think
Yeah.
that's another huge lesson is hire coaches. Like hire people that push you past your comfort zones. And so he says to me, he goes, what are you uncomfortable with? What do you not want to do? And I said, well, let me think about that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And he goes, okay, I'm going to hold you accountable to that. You have to do those two things in the next 3 months. So he forces me to do things that I do not want to do. Right. But
Yeah.
that's what coaches do. Coaches are pushing you past your comfort, being hard on people. And one of the things that I teach my team in my company is I do not do you a favor if I let you get away with things that are easy. Like
Yeah.
I'm not doing you a favor. Like if I'm like, oh, that's too hard, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing you a favor by not letting you do that. I'm going to make you do that because that's going to make you a better person and more growth, and you'll learn more about yourself because you had to get through that. So I
Yeah.
think the other lesson is you got to do things you're uncomfortable with all the time. All the time. I mean, it's like if the minute your brain goes, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not saying jump off a cliff. I'm saying, but I'm not saying unsafe. I'm saying in business, in life, like I'm uncomfortable with that. That means you probably have to do that because
Yeah.
that you will grow. So that's the other thing for me is as I keep pushing myself into things I'm uncomfortable with because I grow and I learn so much about it. When things get scary and tough, that's a huge growth moment for you,
Yeah.
right? You'll figure it out, but you just got to be there. You got to push yourself there. Some people don't want to do that. Some people don't want to go to that level.
Well, yeah,
So,
and coming out of the last 2.5 years, what we all experienced, a lot of people just retreated. Just they just sat back and
yeah,
became Netflix experts, and that became their whole life. And for them to get re-engaged again has been very difficult. How do I get engaged when I've been laying on the couch and I've been sitting back and secluded?
yeah,
I have a quote that I had. I said, if you stop, you're going to rot, and
yeah.
you can't stop. We got to keep growing. If we're going to live life and experience life, we got to keep figuring out a way to grow, stretching yourself, just like you said.
Well, and the other side of that too is being an example. One of the things is just being an example for the people around you. Like, I have grandkids, like you said, and you want to be an example for the people around you. You want it when I'm on my deathbed and I think about that a lot. What do I want people to
Yeah,
think about me? And I want to be an example for people. I want to say he took chances. He pushed himself. I want my grandkids to go, yeah, that's why, that's the kind of person I want to be. And so we're out here setting examples. I think that's part of the issue I have right now with a lot of things is what example are we setting for other people around us?
yeah,
And so that's important. That's an important part to me too, is what example do I set as a leader? What example do I set as a coach? What example? I mean, if I'm not going to go practice, why would I expect my students to practice, right? I
yeah.
mean, you got to set the right example. So I think that's another lesson too, is just be a good example, for others.
Yeah, you walk the walk, you talk the talk. It's evident, and that's why your continues to evolve and grow and provide everything it needs for your staff and everybody around it. So, I thank you. I need a tune up, so I'm going to be reaching out to you,
I love
uh,
it.
coming out to see you and spend some time with you, just to
Well,
reconnect.
it's just a straight shot, straight south. All you got to do is come down. So
Yeah, it's like probably 8 hours, 10 hours to get to you. So
yeah,
it's all
perfect.
good. Todd, thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Give high fives to your entire team. They're amazing, and all starts with the people that are leading, and you're leading from
Yep.
the front, and you're trickling all your lessons down to the people, and it's just beautiful. So I appreciate
Yep.
you, man.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate you. All right.
All right, hit
Hope to
them
see you soon.
straight. All right, all
Thanks.
right, all right,
See you.
buddy.